thing. So a very, very interesting thing happened where one day, so April 7th, that would have been Monday. Monday, Sam Hyde wonders out loud, hey, I wonder what Israel has on Tim Pool that Tim Pool won't let people criticize Israel on his show, or Tim Pool won't criticize Israel on his show. Because, like, even normal people, like even people who don't dig too deep into shit in the, since October 7th have been kind of looking at Israel and going, yeah, these guys really do seem to be egregious over there in that Gaza Strip. And like the way they treat the occupied people of the West Bank and the Gaza Strip since the 1960s. They really are second class, not even citizens. They're just second class humans. I mean, they really treat them like dog shit. Ironically, how the Germans treated the Jews in 1930s Germany. And Tim Pool doesn't really talk about that. And as soon as someone does start talking about that, Tim Pool seems to cut it off at the quick, right? Well, Monday, Sam Hyde wondered out loud, I wonder why that is. Yesterday, Tim Pool goes on his show and says, I had a super secret meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu. Fuck. Let's go ahead and watch the Sam Hyde clip first. Then we've got Tim Pool talking about his super secret Jewish meeting he had with Netanyahu, which is crazy. And then we've got, as a bonus for you, Nick Fuentes, the Fed, getting in there and stirring shit up and causing trouble. And then we've got Donald Trump pissing off Benjamin Netanyahu. So this one goes all over the place. Let's play the clip of Sam Hyde first, doing his podcast and talking about old Timmy P.
What does Mossad have on RFK Jr.? What do they have on Tim Pool? Are they paying Tim Pool? Who funds Tim Pool?
That's what I love about that shit. We've done that shit so many times on this show where we wonder something out loud. And then I think, like, Sam's in his early 40s, right? I'm in my late 30s. I think millennials have this thing where, like, we grew up half our lives without technology that you could just Google shit on command. And then the second half of our life, we've had all the technology at our fingertips. So we do this weird thing that I don't think Gen Z does, where we'll wonder something out loud. We'll go, I wonder if this is this or this is that. And then something will snap in your head. Or somebody will go, hey, retard, you can Google it, right? And we're like, oh, shit, that's right. You know what? Here, let's look that up. Whereas Gen Z, they just go to their phone right away. And, Gen X is still looking for the Rand McNally Atlas and the Farmer's Almanac. But millennials have this weird thing where we're 1 foot in the old way and we're 1 foot in modern technology. Let's go. So Sam Hyde goes, what does Mossad have on Tim Pool? And then he wonders that out loud, and then he goes, oh, let me grab my phone and look it up. Who funds Timcast? Not difficult. Didn't Tim Pool admit to taking, like, Russian money or something like that? I could be mistaken. But I thought he admitted to being on the take from somebody.
Funds Tim Pool.
Should have looked into Rabbi Shmuley. It's a name that you can't ignore.
If Tim Pool makes money through Super Chat donations, that's where they make... Oh, they made $1.3 million over a 5-year period. Did you see him complaining about not being able to monetize? He has like 30 employees or something, and he's...
So Tim Pool makes $250,000 a year in super chats. And then there's also, he gets millions and millions of views a month. And even if that's just partially monetized, that's $7 or $8 per 1,000. So let's say he's partially monetized on everything, which isn't the case. He's probably fully monetized on most of his stuff. But if you go, let's say Tim Pool gets 25 million views. That's probably a little high. Let's say 10 million views a month. And you divide that by 1,000. You multiply that by, let's be very conservative and say $5. That's $50,000 a month in ad revenue. And then you got $20,000 a month in super chats. So that's just from that there. Now, that's no advertisers. That's no sponsors. That's nothing else. That's just straight up super chats and video view revenue. And that doesn't count Rumble either. Multiply that by 12, $840,000 a year in just those two things. You can afford a staff on that. You can, because then like you could spend all of that $840,000 a year on employing people. And then whatever you make on Rumble and whatever you make on advertisers, you can keep that. You can put that in your back pocket.
He wasn't able to figure out how to make money. Isn't he fucking huge? So why does he censor himself about Israel?
I keep being told about the.
So now this is if you haven't seen this, what they're about to show is the clip where Tim Pool's producer tries to bring up the USS Liberty. And I think Tim Pool's own producer is trolling him and fucking with him. And Tim Pool's like, we can't be careful about the USS Liberty. We don't know anything about the Liberty. What are you doing? We're not going to get any shekels. And by the way, I've seen clips of Tim Pool's show. He doesn't need 30 employees. You need one guy to run a board and a video camera. That's one guy can do both of those things. You can have like a sidekick, so you can have two employees for the podcast. And then I'll let you have 2 people for making clips and thumbnails and shit. And then maybe 2 people to book guests, and then 2 people to gather materials for the show. I'll let you have 10 employees, and you can make that work.
Israel.
I keep being told about the USS Liberty. That's something with the Israeli government.
No, you should.
No. Wait.
You should be careful about that.
Allegedly, the Israeli Air Force jet fighter aircraft.
I mean, they did end up paying out the American government.
So I'm concerned, like false flag operation, like a missile comes out of Gaza and hits one of our aircraft carriers, but it was actually an Israeli missile. Well, I don't want. We should get out of there.
It doesn't. Well, let me stop you there. It doesn't matter.
let me stop you there. I'm not going to get invited to tea and crumpets with Benjamin Netanyahu if you keep fucking mouthing off about shit that Israel totally probably does.
Well, let me stop you there. It doesn't matter where the missile comes from.
No, but that's really kind of like 50% of what matters. Like when a missile goes off somewhere, there's only 2 things that matter: where it came from and where it hit. Like, for example, if the missile is launched from point A, then the place where the missile hit needs to retaliate by firing missiles at point A. If the missile is fired from point B and you attack point A, well, now you've created a bigger problem.
That's weird, huh?
You've been around as long as Occupy Wall Street. I mean, the shoulders you rub into over time.
You collect them.
Yeah, so what does Mossad have on Tim Pool? Andrea Plus with $5 says, weird how I was just listening to Tim Pool talk about how we shouldn't be funding Israel. Well, good for Tim, but I don't think he's going to get asked to many meetings with an attitude like that. Andrea, by the way, I will say this. I am anti-Tim Pool. I think Tim Pool's a creep. I think he's a fence-walking guy who knows where his bread's buttered, and he kind of leans that way. So I'm incredibly biased. I'm not neutral at all. And Andrea Plus, God bless her, she is a Tim Pool fan. So she's kind of my check. You know, when I get a little too far on the Tim Pool's a fucking beanie wearing asshole direction, and a lot of the audience is like that too, Andrea is the one who can kind of rein it in and go, all right, you little dickheads. Like Tim Pool, he criticizes Israel too. All right, you know what? She's probably right. Let's be fair. Here. Let's be fair. Oh, by the way, we have that Jasmine Crockett picking cotton clip coming up later today, and I know we're a couple days late on that, but it's very funny. Tim Pool Israel. Let's go on Twitter. I'll type in Tim Pool Israel, and we'll go with that. Then we have another Tim Pool clip. All right, this is from 10 hours ago. This is the first clip that comes up. Oh, wait, no, you know what? This is the similar clip that I have. This is about the Benjamin Netanyahu meeting. So let's not do that one because then it looks like I'm doubling up and being a dick. Well, there's Nick Fuentes. Everything is the private roundtable meeting with Netanyahu. Tim Pool confirms he took part in a private roundtable meeting with Netanyahu. Everything's the Netanyahu thing, Andrea Plus. I'm really sorry. Here. All right. Here's a Tim Pool clip about Israel. When was this one from? March 18th, 2024. So this is from a year ago, in fairness, but this is the first thing that showed up when I type in Tim Pool Israel that wasn't about the Netanyahu meeting, which we're going to cover in a second. This is for Andrea. This is so that we're fair on Tim Pool and the Israel thing, because I like Andrea and she deserves, she's a Tim Pool person, and we deserve a little fairness here. And thanks for the $5.
Yeah, and for sure. But Israel is intentionally dragging us into this war, and also Israel has
I think you got Israel derangement syndrome.
Okay, well,
it doesn't sound like criticizing Israel to me.
I call it Israel-Palestine derangement.
Okay, then let me. Well, so first of all, Israel. This is on two separate. Do you know the story of Israel wiretapping the White House and blackmailing Bill Clinton?
Oh yeah, remember that one? Remember when we did that thing? Because everyone, I think it was during the Bush years, maybe the Obama years, when everyone was like, America's spying on everyone around the world. So this was during the time of like Snowden and Julian Assange and Bradley Manning and all this stuff. I'm sorry, Chelsea Manning. Am I right, boys? That looker. This was during the time of all that leaking of like Patriot Act stuff and NDAA stuff and all that. And one of the things we found out is that Israel was spying on the UK, France, us. They were spying on all of our shit, and they were also digging into our elections, manipulating our elections. So Israel was fucking with the people that helped them. And it was, we were just, because the United States got tired of it, and they're like, well, I'm tired of everybody showing our secrets and, saying that we're pieces of shit. Look what these fuckers are doing. So now this guy's pointing out, hey, you know how Israel blackmailed the fuck out of everybody?
No.
Okay, well, this is you can see this in the New York Post. There's been 2 independently written books on this.
Yeah, but do you know the story about the NSA wiretapping Angela Merkel?
No, okay, sure. I'm just saying.
Okay, Andrea, I'm sorry, but your boy seems to be on the take, because his guest is like, hey, you know how Israel spies on us and blackmails our leaders? And Tim Pool goes, NSA wiretapped Angela Merkel. First of all, fuckface, that's your team. We're America. That's your side. You don't hear something shitty about another country and then immediately go, no, our side sucks shit too. That's weird, bro. Like, if someone said Russia's spying on us, you wouldn't be like, no, we're spying on everybody. We're shit. You would go, someone else would bring that up and you'd be like, yeah, we do it too. Russia does it, but, we're on opposite sides of a divide right now. Israel's supposed to be our fucking ally, and they're spying on us. And then Tim Pool goes, we spied on Angela Merkel. Fuck that. You know Angela Merkel? I'd spy on Angela Merkel. Not while she's in the shower. She's a biggin.
You're look.
No, I'm giving you examples. If Israel doesn't treat us like an ally, Israel ropes us into these things because they know we're going to back
Germany like an ally, which is the point.
No, I know, but
that's not the point. You're just changing the subject. You're arguing like a bitch. You guys were talking about Israel and Palestine, and he's saying, why do we get Israel's back so much? Look what they do to us. We don't get Germany's back the way we get Israel's back. You know what we did for Germany? We fucking staged a false flag where we bombed the pipeline that provides them with most of their fucking oil. We bombed the Nord Stream pipeline during the Ukraine-Russian war, tried to get the world to believe it was Putin who did it, and then as soon as it started looking like it was a false flag deal on our end, everybody stopped talking about the Nord Stream pipeline. So, no, Tim, it's not the same thing. We don't talk about how much we love Germany and they're our greatest ally and blah, 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 and then we spy on them. We treat Germany like our fucking stooge, and then we spy on them. Israel goes, oh, America's so wonderful. America's our greatest partner, blah, blah, blah. And then behind the scenes goes, spy on these fuckers and blackmail all their leaders. That's shitty.
But
welcome to international espionage and warfare.
But if you're America first, why would you want to get exploited into this war in the Middle East that you care so little about?
Why are you trying to make me single on Israel when all of these other countries are doing equally or worse things?
Ethiopia, Afghanistan, Yemen.
Because it's not Egypt, the money Hamas.
So is that Tim Pool's own person going like, here's all the countries we're involved in on Israel's behalf? Wow.
Hamas doesn't have a lobbying wing in D.C.
Yes, it does.
That captures all your politicians.
I don't want to say her name.
No, but Hamas does not.
Did that woman, who is that lady? Did she just go, yeah, Hamas has a lobbying wing? No, it doesn't. There's no AIPAC for Hamas. I mean, sure, there are Congress people who have more sympathy for Hamas than they do Israel. Personally, I'd like to see all of those politicians have a little more sympathy for America. But they don't have there's no AIPAC for Hamas. Please. Like even, what's that big Islamic lobby? It's not as big as AIPAC, but, oh God, somebody will come up with it. God damn it. It's the Arab Muslim CAIR, CAIR. They're not a lobbying wing for Hamas. They have, don't get me wrong, CAIR has their sides. CAIR has the sides that they fall on. But they're not a lobbying agent for the United States to go in and do things on Hamas's behalf, like AIPAC is. Kennedy got his fucking head blown off partially because he wanted to register AIPAC as a foreign agent. Let's go to Andrea with $2. She says, LOL, whatever, nerd. That is where these discussions kind of fall off, isn't it? Like, hey, Andrea, I think Tim Pool's a stooge piece of shit. She's like, oh, yeah? Well, why is he talking about how we shouldn't be funding Israel? And I'm like, well, let me find a clip to be fair to you. And she's like, whatever, dork. Fuck me. That's why all of our political debates in this country always end up in fights. Because it doesn't pay to be fair. So if you're like, hey, let me give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, whatever, fag. And you're like, oh, well, that doesn't make me feel good. Let's just yell at each other about it then. That sounds better. Thank you for the $7, Andrea. I appreciate it. That puts us at $2.90 for today. Keep it up, guys. Everybody who throws in $20 today, the first 4 people who throw in $20 today are getting a pair of 5.5-inch steel toe stickers. So Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmo, Super Chats, and Rumble Rants. Again, $2.90 is the number for today. Thank you for your contributions. Perfect week so far. Let's keep it up. So Sam Hyde goes out and he says, hey, this fucking Tim Pool, I think he's on the take from Israel. I think Mossad might have something on Tim Pool. Well, I think it's only fair that we let Tim Pool refute these accusations from Sam Hyde. Tim, you're on the clock. Sam Hyde says you're a blackmailed piece of shit. What's the Alex Jones thing?
You goddamn drug addict, you blackmailed piece of shit, meth head, fuck you.
So that's pretty much the accusation from Sam Hyde. I ain't Fox News. I ain't CNN. I ain't going to play this one-sided. Let's let Tim Pool, yesterday on his show, let's let him respond to Sam Hyde's charge that he's a, paraphrasing here, blackmailed piece of shit.
Last night I wasn't here. I got late word that I was invited to a private roundtable meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
He skipped his show. This motherfucker didn't do his show so that he could take a meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu. Hey, Tim, you have an influential podcast that people of an under 40-year-old demographic like to listen to. The prime minister of one of the most manipulative regimes in the world would like to have a private meeting. Oh, and by the way, you can't talk about who's at this private meeting, and you can't discuss anything that you talk about in this private meeting. I'm sure, guys, that everything that happened a couple nights ago with Tim Pool and Benjamin Netanyahu was totally on the up and up. Nobody was sucking anyone's jag on. There were no photos that were taken. There was nothing of a compromising nature. This is fucking weird. Benjamin Netanyahu met with a bunch of podcasters in a secret meeting that had this traditional cultural thing behind it where you can't talk about who was there. Cool. The Sam Hyde thing is looking like it makes a lot of sense. I bet you Sam wasn't invited to that meeting. And you might say, hey guys, why would Netanyahu meet with podcasters? Why wouldn't he meet with people from the regular media? Why would he need to meet with them? He already owns them. Look, man, whether you're MSNBC, CNN, or Fox News, You know, you can have your political divisions on Trump and all that, but boy, when they talk about Israel and Palestine, boy, are they all in lockstep. Lockstep, all of them. All right, continue, Tim. Talk about your extra special private meeting that you had with the Israelis.
It was under what's called Chatham House rules. For those that are not familiar,
I only meet people under the Cider House rules. I don't know about this Cheatham, Dewey, and Howe. I don't know about these rules, but if people extend an invitation to me, I always assume that it's under Cider House rule or Georgia rule. Those are the only two meeting rules that I observe. If anyone says, hey, it's under Chatham rules, I say, nope, Cider House or Georgia. That's it. And I get to tell everybody what you said. It's probably why I don't get invited to a lot of meetings.
This means that you cannot reveal anybody who attended, nor attribute anything to any one individual, as they can deny it.
Wow. So I took a meeting with a bunch of Jews under a Jewish rule that says it has to be super secret and I can't say anything about it. I don't know where these people get the reputation that they're sneaky or shifty. I don't know where that comes from. You guys are all being anti-Semitic. You're being disgusting. Sam Show, I want you to knock it off. I mean, does that instill confidence that you're dealing with honest people when they say, hey, I want you to come to a special meeting with us powerful Israeli people? Oh, cool. That'll be awesome. Can't wait to talk about it on the show. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, look. You can't talk about this on your show. You can't even talk about who was here. And you definitely can't talk about anything any of them said. Which, by the way, if you're a media person, that totally doesn't compromise your ethics whatsoever. God, people think I'm too hard on Tim Pool. If you're wondering why, this is why. He's a fucking snake. He's a monkey branching, ladder climbing sack of shit who tries to pretend he's independent media. That's what drives me nuts. Be a fucking climber. Who gives a shit? Be Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman, Tim. Suck dick until you get all the way to the top. But when we point out that you're sucking dick, don't pretend that you're wearing a chastity belt. That's what I hate about Tim Pool. It's the I'm going to say I'm one thing, but I'm going to do this and I'm going to lie. I don't mind hypocrisy. You know that about me. I do not mind hypocrisy. I don't like lying about hypocrisy. If you're going to be a hypocrite, that's fine, be a hypocrite. Am I a hypocrite? I try not to be, but I am one every fucking day of my life. Hey, man, I should be down at 2:15. I'm going to go to the gym today, and then I'll eat pizza rolls. That's a hypocrisy. I'm very upfront and honest about that. But Tim Pool is like, I'm independent journalism. Oh, I also went to a super secret Jew meeting where they told me what to say, but I can't say that they said that because that would be breaking the rules of the super secret Jewish meeting I went to. Oh, and by the way, I'm an independent journalist who's here to take it to both sides. Sure you are.
Anybody who attended, nor attribute anything to any one individual, as they can deny it, and they would. However, what I love about what the White House is currently doing, when you bring together a bunch of influencers and podcasters who don't know much about journalism culture, whatever you want to call it, not that we...
Going to a super secret meeting of Jews is not journalism. Well, actually, you know what? It is media. Look, my point is, what journalism is supposed to be is not going into a super secret meeting under the mountain where a bunch of Jewish guys tell you what to say. That is not journalism, Tim. That's called being a stooge.
We respect it tremendously. Most people didn't know what Chatham House meant. So with all due respect, it's funny because they bring us into the Blair House, which is where Netanyahu was staying. And
why does everything sound so fucking clandestine? Why does everything sound so spooky?
Immediately, people are walking around with their cameras, their phones up. They actually took our phones from us. And
see, I leave this meeting. Hey, you know how you're a talk show personality? Yeah. We're gonna have a meeting with foreign heads of state in Israel. Wow, that's great. That'll give me great material for the show. Oh, well. Here's the thing. You can't talk about this. What? Yeah, you can't talk about this. Oh, well, we'll just get a few pictures and I'll show my audience that I was here and we'll be well. Did you bring your phone in here? Oh, well, we would have asked you not to. We're gonna take your phone. Well, what can I have a talk show. What can I tell my audience about this? You can tell them that Israel rocks and Jews rule. Oh.
I legit thought they would maintain Chatham House rules, meaning you can't quote the prime minister, you can't quote his officials and the other people who were there, but you can report what was said generally. If you wanted an official quote on a specific matter, you would then ask an official once the meeting was wrapped, and they'd provide you the exact quote. Or they would just say outright, like, we ain't putting our quotes on that one.
Do you understand what you just heard? Like, Tim Pool just confirmed that there's secret Jewish meetings where you're not allowed to talk about it, and you get to go in, hear a bunch of secrets. And Tim Pool is actively going. You know what I will say? I appreciate his honesty in this one, but I don't think he understands what this means. It means that everything Tim Pool says is compromised. He cannot be trusted. He's feeding you a load of bullshit. He's got you by the fucking balls. He's telling you, I go to secret meetings where I can't tell you what was said. And if I do tell you what someone said, I would be in big trouble. They would deny it. And once the meeting is over, they can give me some spun bullshit that I can tell you about. But I can't tell you what all of us cool people said in our super secret meeting. Oh, by the way, support independent journalism and give Timcast money. Hey, guys, you give me money. I hit the goal. I pay myself. I buy some equipment for our new backdrop. There you go. Down and dirt. That's the honesty of it. That's, you know where your money goes? Paying everybody who's involved with the show, buying new equipment, getting new setups, all that shit. Buying people merchandise and so mail, like I was doing yesterday and I'll be doing today, mailing shit out to people. That's where it goes. For Tim Pool to say, hey, you give Tim Pool money, you're keeping independent journalism alive. By the way, I went to a secret Jew meeting in the mountain and I can't tell you what was said because we're all in on this big secret together and I can't talk to you about it. You know, real deep independent journalism type shit. Eaton Clam says Aaron went to Jewish summer camp with Chatham House rules, so he couldn't talk about the bad touch. I bet you the Catholic Church thinks about Chatham House rules and goes, I knew we forgot something. Clopogram says, was the meeting in America? If so, how can Tim Pool not say anything? Because people like Tim Pool are grifting pieces of shit and they love the access. It's more important to him that I got to go to a meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu and he talked to me about all the awesome things they do. It's more important to him that he gets to say that than he gets to actually investigate shit and tell the truth. And by the way, this is not a new thing. This is how he's always been. Andrew says Chatham House rules is not a Jewish thing, Aaron. Oh, well then what the fuck do I know? See, that's the easiest part of being me. I'm not a journalist. I'm just a guy who talks shit for a living. So if you go, hey, Aaron, that thing you said, it was incorrect. Oh, shit. Well, then guess what, guys? I was wrong. But technically not wrong. It was a meeting with a bunch of Jewish people, and they did have super secret meeting rules.